In 2013, Tesla revealed Autopilot, one of the most futuristic features of a fantastic car. Autopilot promised a world where cars wouldn't need drivers. We're not there yet, though, as it's evident we still have quite a way to go before autonomous cars become a part of everyday life. Today, we want to answer the question of how far away the driverless future is. First up, Autopilot in 2022. Elon Musk has always touted his company to drive us to the future of automobiles, so it's worth looking at what progress Autopilot has made since then. It's a lot less than you might expect. The Society of Automotive Engineers has a new system of levels for showing how automated a car's driving capabilities are. Autopilot and most of its competitors are at level 2, which means hands-off. In 2016, Musk said at an earnings call that at level 5, which is steering wheel optional or full self-driving, was pretty much a done deal and would be ready by the end of the year. He was contradicted at the time by the director of Autopilot's development, but if Elon was making such bold claims, there had to be some truth to them, right? Well, it's 2022 now, and Tesla is still firmly stuck in level 2. But they do have a game plan. Their key to solving the problem is to have thousands of drivers go about in their Tesla and train their neural networks. By doing so, Autopilot can be equipped with a super advanced AI that can genuinely drive like a human. The USP in Tesla's approach is to rely on the sort of hardware that cars already have, like GPS, cameras, and parking sensors. Musk said that this should be good enough, but as we'll see later, his competition thinks otherwise. Whatever the case may be, the Autopilot neural network has been trained on 3 billion miles of public road driving as of April 2020, but we don't seem to be any closer to our destination. Maybe those competitors are getting somewhere. Next, there's way more to this industry than Tesla. There's a whole industry that has sprung up alongside Tesla working on their own models and technologies to achieve level 5 automation. Let's take a look at two of them. One company that holds a lot of promise is Waymo. It's a subsidiary of Alphabet Inc., which happens to own a little company known as Google. We're sure that working with the company that has basically mapped the entire planet gives Waymo a huge advantage, and that's part of the reason why they're at the forefront of the field. They've already got partnerships with the parent companies of Mercedes, Nissan, and Volvo. Yes, Volvo. If the inventor of the seatbelt thinks Waymo is promising, then we think you should keep your eye on them. Another Tesla competitor is Cruise. Cruise has been supplying level 2 autonomous driving capabilities since the early 2010s. The first cars to feature Cruise's implementation were the 2012 and later Audi S4s and the Nissan Leaf. Their system was great for highway driving, but they came to realize that the real challenge was autonomous driving in the city. They were acquired in 2016 by General Motors, but the company has received investments from other giants like Honda and Microsoft. These companies are also training neural networks to aid their full self-driving AIs, but they're taking a much more tech-centric approach to the problem. Name any kind of positional hardware, and these companies are using it. 3D cameras? Check. Radar? Check. LiDAR? Check. Both of these companies actually criticized Tesla for not using LiDAR, at the very minimum, to which Musk responded by calling LiDAR expensive garbage. Time will have to tell who will come out on top. Regardless of their high-tech approaches, neither of these companies have achieved level 5 of self-driving either, though we appreciate the lack of boastful predictions from them. One thing is clear, the tech isn't there yet, but it's well on its way. So, is tech the only problem? There's more to the issue of self-driving than just the tech involved. Many real-world issues are going to hold us back from achieving a totally driverless future. Currently, the industry is focused on deploying this tech in the United States, and that's going to be a tough ride on its own. The road layouts and maintenance vary so much from city to city, let alone state to state, and the neural networks these companies are developing will have to account for it all. That's before we consider the rest of the world. Think of it this way. If you still have Google Maps occasionally leading you to a road that doesn't exist, you certainly can't trust a car to not go on that imaginary road. But Earth's biggest problem has always been humans. Even if level 5 tech existed, it would probably roll out the way every cool feature rolls out in cars, starting from the top. Full-spec S-Classes and BMW 7 Series will be sharing the road with Honda Fits and Toyota Corollas driven by dumb and impetuous humans. Can you make an AI that can deal with every unpredictable thing a human driver might do? It's an important consideration and will remain so until the vast majority of cars on the road are driving themselves. Compared to these, the bureaucracy may not seem like a big deal, but it's still worth mentioning. These companies will apply for government approval, get rejected, and apply again until they finally pass muster, and the companies will have to repeat the process for every country. We're actually getting ahead of ourselves. Most of the world doesn't even have laws on the books governing self-driving cars. So it looks like we'll be staying at level 2 for some time. That might be a little disappointing, but we do want to point out the bright side. Level 2 2 is fantastic. It has already begun to revolutionize certain industries and holds a lot of promise for other industries too. Level 5 may be a long way off, but we've yet to see all we can do at Level 2. Now, in other news, self-driving taxis. Don't you just hate it when you're in a bad mood and you get a chatty cab driver? Or when the driver's having an off day and takes you on an impromptu roller coaster ride? We may be about to emerge from the other side of those problems for good. Taxi services have become the testing ground for industrial applications of autonomous driving. Uber and other ride-hailing companies are obviously interested, and you can already find self-driving taxis in some cities today. Waymo launched its taxi service in Phoenix, Arizona in 2017 using modified Chrysler Pacifica hybrids. They expanded their venture by signing an agreement with Lyft, but they massively upgraded in 2018 and branded it Waymo One. The service has been a success for Waymo, and they've even started operating vehicles with no driver at all, which would fall under Level 4 self-driving. This is all good news. The only bad news is that the service hasn't expanded beyond Phoenix. On the other side of the world, the UAE is bringing self-driving taxis to both the capital Abu Dhabi and the fun capital Dubai. Cruise is setting up shop in Dubai and will be putting self-driving taxis on the streets by 2023. In Abu Dhabi, an Emirati company called Group 42 has developed their own TXAI self-driving cars, and they're driving around Yas Island. Are self-driving trucks on the way? One field that could be really revolutionized by autonomous driving is the trucking industry, and it sure looks like it's needed. Both the US and UK went through shipping crises caused by a lack of truck drivers this year. Tesla made their play for the trucking world with the Tesla Semi. Revealed in 2021, the Semi doesn't really have a roadmap for launch. Classic Tesla, but it's still in active development. Daimler AG has also invested over $500 million in self-driving trucks, while Aurora is hard at work on an automated truck operating system. There are self-driving trucks on the road in the US, but only in the Sun Belt, as they haven't quite figured out how to keep the trucks rolling in bad weather. Bad weather isn't the only obstacle to self-driving trucks. There have been lobbying and protests done by truck drivers who, in fairness, are at risk of losing their jobs if this automated truck business goes too far. Countries will have to have a hard think about how to best serve the drivers whose jobs are at stake if they want to take advantage of the promise offered by automating the trucking industry. The Apple Car. Before the electric vehicle revolution even kicked off in earnest, there were grumblings about a so-called Apple Car. Rumor has it that the car is about 3 years away, though it has been 3 years away for almost a decade now. But this week saw some new rumors about the car that seem a little odd. Merging the Apple Car rumors with the Apple mixed reality headset rumors, these leaks state that the car will replace Windows with VR. We suppose that's a win for anyone who hates Windows. The idea seems to be that you sit in the car and put on the Apple headset and enjoy your VR content instead of the view outside. You can have the view in the headset if you want, but you can also consume media, have video calls and such. We think Apple might be thinking too different with this approach. Oh, and the car might look like a magic mouse. Fingers crossed you don't have to flip it upside down to charge it. That's our dive into self-driving cars for today. Are you excited about the future of autonomous driving? Are you excited about the present? And what do you think of that Apple Car? Share your opinions in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.